Similarly for Mousesports, they're not really playing a retake setup. It's actually a fairly classic setup here from them. And it's quite cool to see that both teams are being quite tentative in this situation, sort of seeing if, wanting to see if the other team's going to throw something aggressive or quirky at them before making or showing their cards perhaps, and see Fnatic starting to edge their way towards top banana. And there's only 2 players on the site there for Mousesports, but they could play this very defensively if they want, just hold on to construction and then wait for their teammates for the retake. That is a possibility.
Indeed it is, but Mousesports have 3 people in this bomb site, so they have a somewhat of an idea. Here comes the flash, and here comes the rush.
Kerrigan will go down somewhat immediately. Bomb will be planted first, oranges, and Mousesports are looking to try to get a recovery into this one. They do have construction, and that position is extremely important to be able to pivot onto that retake, but apparently Crimson is going to just destroy everybody coming from construction in single file 1v1, so looks like this is falling flat in his face so far for Mousesports, and now it's just Woxic with 5 HP. There are a few low players here for Fnatic, but the HE will send him into space.
Flusha, of course, it's Flusha.
And there we go. The pistol is picked up by Fnatic.
Yeah, Flusha's always good for at least 1 nade kill in a game, but he finds it on round 1. That's a little bit unexpected, but a pretty standard approach from Fnatic, all things considered, and just a great hold there from Crims especially.
I'm thinking, looks like it might be a little tech pause for a second. I'm wondering how Fnatic is going to make Woxic play passive. So I think one of the strengths of Mousesports...
galera, quem estiver assistindo, o som dos locutores aí vai estar muito baixo, tá ligado?
Take in the middle with his ult. But they have a lot of little neat things that they can do, like FB over, head boost over the smoke, and just pure out raw aim in the middle. He loves to peek mid with the up a lot, so I wonder if Fnatic has a specific game plan just for him. I would think so. The player like Flusha coming up with something, helping with something.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different ways to approach this.
Eu só posso deixar a transmissão ativa só com o som dos tiros, bombas e tal. Aí eu não posso colocar com a voz deles porque direitos autorais e outras coisas. Qualquer coisa aí, eu não posso fazer muita coisa por enquanto não, tô organizando as coisas aqui.
I'd say it's perhaps one of the best maps for the Force Spy on the CT side. Golden will be able to deal with Chris J, so that top banana control will fall into the hands of Fnatic.
Brolin and JW look to be posturing towards some kind of bracket.
Se alguém quiser perguntar alguma coisa aí, pode perguntar.
By Frozen and Rops. We'll see how Fnatic is able to deal with them. Frozen's holding a tight angle at Boiler Room right now. Will he be flashed off the angle? Usually this is flashed off if there's an offer, but doesn't look like that'll be the case. Good nade though from him, does some chip damage to Brolin, but at the same time Fnatic do acquire that bracket space. And Mousesports, they only have 4 remaining players, but 3 of them are at this A bomb site. Kerrigan playing the Moto position, and it looks to be an arch trap based off of the smokes that Fnatic have thrown right now, unless they throw a wrench into this. Kerrigan will be challenged at this position. Can he come up with anything? No, he cannot. But JW does find a team kill, which will help out Mousesports a little bit. The smoke is down towards Moto, and Frozen in the bomb site right now is trying to hold that smoke, but jumping all over the place is Flusha, but Rops and him are able to connect with a couple of kills. Rops at the graveyard position, can't find anything more though. 2v1 situation, it's just Woxic.
Is it ever just Woxic? We'll have to find out with the Beagle in hand. It will be difficult, but he is looking for that first shot to connect, and unfortunately doesn't quite go his way this time. But a acceptable, I suppose, amount of damage by Mousesports for the Force Spy. Obviously, it can go a lot worse, I suppose. 3 kills is some good economic damage to keep Fnatic somewhat honest, but Mousesports, of course, do need to go for the full save. And it's this is a map where you do need all of your utility if you're on the CT side. So it's good to see that Mousesports will have a lot of options in that following round to lock things down. The SMGs work really well also, so I would expect to see quite a few of those.
Kind of forgot, like, when you asked me about who would be, kind of better online, or have that online mentality, and I forgot that Mousesports is pretty much Team FPL. They all came from there online. They were born in it. They were molded by it.
That's a good point. And well, it's like looks like it looks like this full save is going rather well. Rob does have a CZ and armor. He's really putting it to good use.
I just looked towards you for a second, and then all of them were dead.
Yeah, this is a bit of an oopsie, I think, from a Fnatic right now. Everything was going perfectly. What the hell happened?
Just a giant bracket swing coming out from Mousesports there at a timing that Fnatic was not ready for. I don't even know if they used a flashbang. I think it might have just been completely dry, no tip off. And it's just flushing in the 1v5, and Rops takes his head right off. Crazy round there for Mousesports. That is a big oof.
It's one thing to like lose that round, but it's another thing to not get any kills because they picked up like 3 rifles. Mousesports did, and they were on a full save basically. So yeah, I was just like looking at Flush there. I'm like just praying for Fnatic's sake that Flush is able to at least get a couple kills to deny those weapons, but huge economic swing off the back of that round. That's very upsetting if you're Fnatic. We'll see if they can mount a recovery here. They do force buy into this round, but as we can see, despite the fact that they have the armor and some utility, their weaponry is really suffering. Lacking some firepower here.
Yeah, it's not too great for them. They have a handful of smokes, so they can take some control later in this round, but the early fights would probably not go their way, and they know that, so they're holding off a little bit, letting Mousesports get comfortable in some of their positions, but Mousesports is playing very far back right now. 2 players on the B side, and the A players don't even have any control towards brackets, so I'm not sure if Fnatic will recognize how much space they're actually being allotted right now.
So they do manage to get top middle, and you can see there they sort of represent presence there with that flashbang. The other team cannot see because the smoke is down. So as far as Mousesports are concerned, they don't know how many players are at top mid right now. It could be a lot, could be very little. We can see that Golden's just lurking this position, just keeping that presence alive. That if he could get a pick, that would really hold the rotation at bay as the main push comes into B. And Carrigan's there with the spray from the fountain. That's excellent work from him. That might just do it. There's only 2 players left now. We'll have Golden rejoining the push, but the rotation's in, and it's not looking like there's too much to do here for Flusher.
Kerrigan, great hold from him. Just Golden, 1v4, doesn't look too likely. He's able to pick up at least 1 kill. That's some nice money acquired, but Fnatic they didn't expect Mousesports to play that far back. Golden was even a little bit worried as he was scaling up Archway. If he had prodded the position a little bit more seriously and perhaps thrown the shock smoke, the one that lands in front of Library, it could have allowed Fnatic a very strong Arch to B play at one point, but that's the benefit of seeing the X-ray and knowing the exact positions of everyone in the server. But at the same time, Fnatic not really feeling their money at this point. Should be a full save call. Maybe Golden will pick up a single flashbang, but as of now, another tech pause.
Like Kerrigan is watching some JKS demos on this map.
Yeah.
He's pretty solid at B. He's really solid at B.
He's one of the standout players from that 100 Thieves team for sure.
I'm kind of glad that they have found that success. Although it has been a while. Obviously, we saw the Starlight Major. Obviously, they had great success on lineup at that major, and JKS was it was cool because he got to show that he can be an absolute god at that level of play, which is awesome because obviously the Renegades guys were struggling for so long. So it was very rewarding to see that he got at least something to show the world that he is actually able to perform at that level. And either way, back with a focus on to Muscles and Fnatic, it's pretty rough that Fnatic lost that round in the way that they did, in the fashion that they did, because this would be such a different game otherwise. But now, instead of Fnatic having likely still economy control and being able to condition their opponent and all sorts of things that they would have had available to them, now they're just kind of on the receiving end of a beating by Mousesports. They can't even do very much here, especially with no utility. I don't know how you can play on the T side of Inferno with no utility at all, and it's very difficult.
Yeah, there's just too many angles for them to work with. We'll see if Flusha can isolate some of those here. Does not look like he'll have too much success. Mousesports Another anti-eco doing a great job just cleaning up these players. Chris J wants to get involved, given he has an MP7, farm a little bit more cash. Probably wouldn't mind even losing it so that he can upgrade to an M4 into the upcoming round. We'll see how he plays around this smoke here. I think Kerrigan is giving him a little bit of space to work with. And Chris J's up close and personal. He doesn't want to overextend to lose his life for free at this point, but he'll get one at the end of the day.
It's pretty cool actually thinking about Chris J, that he's someone that's at first, he had a huge reputation for the scout. It's kind of, when you think of the scout, Chris J is absolutely one of the players you think of. And the MP7 is also that, because even now, even though it's a great gun actually in terms of the SMGs, it's basically only Chris J that's actually used it a lot, like actually picked it, and not just picked it up or used it for a troll round or something. He actually picks it up and uses it in gun rounds sometimes, like we're going to see here.
Yeah, it looks like banana control will be the focus of both of these teams right now. But JW just sitting there in the middle pit. And at this point, Fnatic, they've actually acquired full banana control. I'm interested to see how Mousesports deal with this, because it's so early in the round, and Mousesports know that they have this position. Golden will throw a lurk smoke onto the site, which will cause Mousesports to expend a little bit of utility to try to stop any sort of play coming in this early. But neither team too interested in the prospect of a fight this early in the round.
Yeah, Mousesports very tentative. They have top mid still, and they know that the top mid take is coming as part of the default after that banana control. And that flash is great, but they don't check for Rops. He gets one that could have been significantly more damaging. Woxic picks off one as well, but the trades are good here from Fnatic. They've created opportunity towards this A bomb site. Rotation is now coming from that B bomb site, just one player at the very least. And there's plenty of time on the clock here for Fnatic too, and they're not really able to have any presence towards banana right now, so they are somewhat committed into this A site. And that rotation has taken position now with in Kerrigan, in Moto. Frozen here, as we can see, tight in pit. It's going to be quite difficult, but Frozen's able to take down Flusher with ease. He makes that look so good.
Yeah, it's still two players from Fnatic, though, and they have 20 seconds. They have to approach this bomb site at this point. Kerrigan here in the site will be able to find Crims. Actually, it will be Frozen who actually ends his life. JW, 10 seconds left, has to make it all work by himself, but he's pinched by two different angles right now, and Fnatic not showing the most conviction going up that porch side there. There was a timing, perhaps, when Frozen was isolated, but they were so worried about clearing all of the angles and trying to find out how to use their utility in just the right way. And that kind of hesitation doesn't seem very characteristic of this Fnatic team, but it's more or less what we've been seeing lately from them.
Yeah, it's a really good point there. I was thinking to myself, either they just go in off of the pick straight away. They're all together as well. Or, they had another option because they had 45 seconds left at the point of all of those trades, where it was a 3 versus 2. They could also have tried to go through and take arch side control, because that way you might catch a timing for the guy rotating from B, but you also are able to better deal with entry fragging into the A site. So it gives you kind of both options. So as you say, yeah, that's just general indecision. We were talking about that a lot yesterday, I think. Which team was it in particular? It was ENCE. Yes, ENCE. It's like the same problem, actually. It's just wanting things to be a bit too perfect when the perfect option doesn't exist, and then getting kind of stuck in place.
Oh.
See, that's the
it's pretty gross.
Part. Yeah, he loves to peek those kind of shots in the middle. But luckily for Mousesports, I guess, they run pistol, so not too much retaliation. It's not easy to hit those shots with CTs. You have to look at so many small micro angles, and the T's only have to look at one angle.
Yeah.
So the T's have a significant advantage on just posting up and waiting for you.
He even flicked that while single scope. That was a pretty hard shot.
Yeah.
But Woxic does that.
I was just going to say, he just defies what we think are the limits of human beings in terms of what he's able to accomplish. And, well, never mind. Just say that.
It's too calculated.
Oh, man. Well, they're doing a great job. I love the approach here from Mousesports to just keep Fnatic at arm's length. And they're not really taking any risks at all. Using the utility really effectively to keep them at distance. It's a great connection onto Frozen with that. Oh, sorry, Flusher, with that HE. And Fnatic are just trying to get an ability to take a shot, but it's so difficult because either they can't see through the angles, they're getting naded, they're getting flashed, or there's a smoke there, and then they die. So again, Mousesports just really clinical and disciplined.
Yeah, Mousesports also seems like they're kind of anti-strategy Fnatic there in terms of how they're holding angles. It's super passive. I mean, I know it's on Inferno where you, as a CT, you be playing a lot of these passive off angles, but Mousesports is doing such a good job at that. Fnatic's kind of like almost walking into the perfect headshot half the time so far.
I'm surprised at how little space Fnatic is taking away from Mouse at Arch in particular right now. I think that was just one player going up Arch on that deco round, I would say. But we'll hold that point for just a second. JW finds an opening pick onto Woxic. That's towards middle. And look at this positioning. Okay, this is what I'm talking about for Fnatic. This is what you like to see, where players are just moving into positions that the CTs do not expect right now. Crims is already deep in apartments, along with Brolin right now, and it's just frozen here at this A bomb site. There's players on every side of him right now at mid, but Golden had to find the bomb and spawn. That may give Mousesports a timing to rotate here, but will they expect the players in the site is the real question. Kerrigan has rotated over. Frozen has an opportunity to stop the bomb, but does he know that it is in alt mid right now? Does he know he has this? It doesn't seem like that'll be the case. He will try to stop anyone approaching from the balcony at least. And this is a very important position. Can he hold it all together? No, he cannot. Brolin is able to find him. Kerrigan now at Moto is taken down as well, and this round has fallen apart for Mousesports. Chris J, the sole survivor.
This is such a classic Fnatic round, wasn't it? It's just like, it's just so hard to understand what's actually happening in terms of positioning. It's like you lose track as a CT completely as to what's happening. As soon as they've kind of managed to wake their way into the site, and the people are running everywhere, it's very weird.
Yeah, and Mousesports had actually pretty good position before Fnatic was putting the bomb down. You had Frozen, who was kind of in the middle. If he was just a little more patient, I think Mousesports could have probably at least had a couple more kills before kind of like rushing to their deaths in the bomb site.
Yeah. Aggressive play from Rops, though, in apartments. This is a risky one at that. And Frozen's here to support him, actually. Not sure if these players will connect, though, but a little bit of a logjam there in that position. But Chris J is still able to find the kill on Crims. Brolin in Boiler Room has to do it all himself. He's able to find Chris J, looking for more, will be traded out. Good team play for Mousesports there. I think that was 4 towards A at the beginning of this round. But that does leave B vulnerable.
It's going to be difficult for Kerrigan, but he has so far proven himself to be able to anchor this site very effectively. But this is going to be difficult. Picks up the first kill, able to actually recover from the flashbang. Out comes the M4. The fire will slow things down slightly, but the trade is through. But life is made quite difficult here for JW. The rotation's already there, trying to bait out something, and he's able to do it. Beautiful movement there from JW. That's exactly what we know him for. And now he's going to have to try to juke and dance around the fountain to find the next kill, which might be quite difficult here because Frozen and Rops know that he has to plant and that they do not have to peek him just yet. That said, JW is going to find a pick onto Frozen. And now life gets quite interesting. Still some time here to play with the bomb as he taps it once more. Rops edging closer, but realizes that JW is just toying with him at this point. And now JW is committed for the plant. Rops goes for the swing, and he hits the headshot. So smart from both players. It's so crazy to witness that 1v1.
Rops played that perfectly. That was crazy. Every time JW was making a motion towards him, he knew when to back off, knows not to give his life up, and somehow he guessed right then and there that JW was committing to the plant. This was a crazy attempt from JW, though. I have to give him props for this one, because that movement to find the kill onto Woxic, and even the knowledge to just find the second kill as well, man, he made it as close as it possibly could have gotten.
Yeah, finding that pick 2 on Frozen is quite impressive, just because Frozen is also like Rops, trying not to give a frag away, but trying to gain ground at the right timings. But never mind, we will move forwards now, as Fnatic do have a 4x still, challenging for some banana control. But Mousesports aren't willing to invest too much towards banana just yet in terms of utility. They're trying to react to how much Fnatic's throwing, and they're trying to throw a minimum so they can keep that advantage. But Frozen's going to find an angle as Crims goes deep in B apartments. Good response from Fnatic. And now there's the panic button is being pressed for Woxic as he tries to hold these T's at bay.
Yeah, Fnatic are pushed off, though, because of that Molotov from Woxic. And where will they decide to make their hit? It looks like it'll actually end up at A, given that the bomb is still in the apartments at this point. But it looks like Fnatic want to throw some kind of fake towards B. Golden has made his way towards Banana, and I think the rest of Fnatic are probably lying in wait for him to try to give some information. Woxic, though, pushing up Porch, is able to find an elbow. Not able to find the kill, but a very strong tag. And there's still a great setup from Mousesports here at apartments. I can't imagine that Fnatic or that Mouse will expect this. But Frozen is in a great position regardless at the haystack. Finds one. The last two Fnatic players have to come out right now. But Frozen is good for 2. JW remains in the 1v2.
Once again, JW is the man looking for the clutch. And perhaps this time it might go a little bit better. The AK in hand. 2 players from Moto able to separate them. And the spray is going to be good from JW. Fantastic stuff. Definitely a bit more fortunate this time around in the clutch, but what a clutch to win.
I felt like Fnatic on Golden, he had a pretty good idea to kind of fake B, maybe to pull an extra rotation or person, but I think he went too much by sacrificing his body and dying in B, because it's usually pretty obvious if it's one person tossing a fake, because you only hear one set of footsteps, if any, and so it's kind of like it was kind of a half-baked idea, in my opinion. I don't think he should have committed all the way in B.
He didn't even have nades, actually, when he went up. I was looking at his utility, and I was wondering how he was going to try to sell that fake, and it was just full-on throw his body at the bomb site, running through a smoke at that. Yeah, I agree. But thankfully, for the rest of Fnatic, JW was able to pull off a massive clutch. I think that was a 1v3 at one point, so good for him. And tactical pause comes out. See who is able to conjure up a stronger play or game plan here to try to close out these last 5 rounds of the half. Very important rounds at that. If this just goes Mousesports' way entirely, they're sure to run away with this game and likely the series.
Fnatic trying to challenge Banana more, I suppose, more intensely at this point. Karrigan is going to be challenged here, trying to play an angle behind the sandbags, but Flusher will have the better of him. And there we go, Fnatic have that control out top Banana. My goodness. Golden able to get another pick there as well. That's a huge deal. 4 versus 3 now for Fnatic with 1:20 on the clock. They can settle back into the default and go with the usual pacing now, go and take top mid, or they can decide to just barrel into this B-bomb site. Given that they've lost a player, looks like they're going to regroup and indeed go for that option. The full rush into the B sites with some nades, and Mousesports, they have made the decision to rotate an extra man towards B, but it's still going to be very tough to hold this.
Yeah, there's not too much utility between Chris J and Rops right now. Ooh, can Chris even get out of that position? All right, he does eventually make it to the pillar, but he has to hold them down, and he cannot find anything. Golden, great entry from him, and Rops, he's here at this coffin angle, but doesn't look like he'll be able to find anything through the smoke, missing the spray, missing the spam, and at this point, we can see that Woxic is already still in pit. So Rops, it's just a game of can he survive, and JW, with very advanced positioning there, is able to take him down. So Fnatic, a lot more focused towards Banana in this round, able to take control of that and find a couple of frags. Looked like there was possibly a chance when that nade landed right at Golden's foot and was able to take down Flusha, but Chris in the bomb site, it's almost like you wish the utility were switched between the two of him and Rops. Whereas Rops had the smoke and Chris J had the flash. Chris J saw the molly at his feet at Nubox, and he realized, I can't really do anything about this.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to hold that spot if you're kind of, so far away from your teammates, and you don't have the right utility to hold them off, because obviously almost everyone in that site seems like a one-and-done kind of spot if you don't have a team supporting from behind you.
Yeah, the odds evening up here, it seems, for the Betway betting odds we just saw there in the lower third. And yeah, this game is very back and forth. Honestly, it's been quite surprising to see how back and forth it's being. We have a 6-5 scoreline in favor of Mousesports, but it looks like they're probably going to lose that. Woxic does find a way to get value from the AWP, the only gun really worth a damn in this round for Mousesports, and it's a good effort also from Karrigan on the swing, but Now the bomb is going to go down, and it's not really much of a chance for Mousesports to get much more, and they can't recover the AWP either. So Fnatic good for the 6-6 shortly, I would imagine. I don't expect the taser and the USP combo to really do too much. And yeah, it's been interesting to see the dynamic around Banana. I'm not sure. It feels like we're in a moment right now where Mousesports need to make an adaptation, whether that's to go more aggressive, more passive, put focus on a different area of the map, something. I feel like we're going to see a change.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Seems like Mousesports are having too much difficulty with the early round Banana, so whether they want to play a retake style or they could go totally aggressive with it and just flash 2 players down with a molly setup, but I expect them to probably lay off of it a little bit more and play retake if they I'm sure they are aware of the retake procedures.
Yeah.
I also would like to see a bit more of a bait setup on Mousesports, like maybe let them take car and then toss some FBs and Molotovs, maybe peek the corner and, you know, try to get a quick kill and then fall back or something like that if they're pushed up in the car. Because we do see a lot from Fnatic, especially if you watch some of their demos. Flusha loves to take B, loves to take the car area, sometimes the lurk, sometimes the, you know, do whatever he needs to do. But it's something that could maybe get Mousesports a little edge over them.
Yeah, see, there is a spot on First Oranges where you can throw all of the retake Banana utility. So I'm curious if we would see something like that. Robs is aggressive in apps. Oh my god, that's a free one for him. That's a good start for Mousesports. So they may not have to work that hard to close this one down at this point now. It almost feels like a desperation push into the B bomb site to try to find a pick here, and it's not going to work out as Christian is able to deal with that and send that push back just for a moment. And there's so much here to work with for the CTs. Mousesports just jiggling, and it's just impossible for Golden to find a frag, and they haven't even seen that there's a third player here all along as well. This is hopeless for Fnatic. And now JW's kind of left in this position with an AWP, just wondering what do I even do from this spot. This is pretty impossible.
He was able to win a clutch earlier, but the numbers weren't this lopsided. He's going up bracket right now, bunny hopping forward, and Rops will be able to take him down. I think Mousesports was actually postured for a retake at Banana, but didn't even have to go for it since Fnatic just ran right into them.
Yeah.
It felt like as soon as Fnatic had any inkling that they lost control on the opposite side of the map, they recognized that their options were limited instantly and probably felt like there was perhaps a timing. It's a curious read, and they actually weren't stopped by normal counter utility. It was mostly just the Mousesports players in a strong setup that was able to take them down. So it could have gone either way, in all honesty, but just Mousesports locking it down there with a nice setup.
And this could be the turning point as we come to the final rounds of the first half. Mousesports it feels like they're experiencing more success and strength now, confidence. We talked about maybe them changing something. You know, Woxic is unable to find anything with the AWP early on. Fnatic are playing a slower pace to their rounds. They do have banana control already though, so next thing is top middle, which Mousesports will be quite aware of. So such a standard way to play this map from the T side. Well, they're tagging there. It's a love tap, and Carrigan with oh my god, the return spray. I thought he was going to get a kill there. That looks very scary indeed.
That flashbang just scares Fnatic from falling back, or at least if that was part of the plan. Is Golden here is going to be lurking up towards the middle. This time though, he still doesn't have any utility. He gets taken out.
No.
The Golden fakes are not working.
And now they can peek top mid and understand what's happening, but it doesn't even matter, I don't think, because look at Woxic go, able to find that the push is indeed rotated to B. So Mousesports are like a step ahead here, pretty much all the way, and there doesn't seem to be too many good options for Fnatic. They're just going to have to run or throw a Hail Mary into the bomb site now and just pray they're able to find a frag. But once again, it just looks like they're in heavy disadvantage just all the time, and Mousesports will close it out with ease.
So I think what we've talked about Golden trying to fake, I think it might work a little better if he did actually have a bunch of utility and he was being, you know, the one to... Because after that second stage, you know, if they're up mid and then he's, you know, tossing a smoke or FB, might push Mousesports a more passive spot and it'll open up the map just a little bit more.
I think he had a smoke, which is curious to me because I Figured he was going to throw that front library smoke at some point, but he just goes for a dry swing and doesn't work out for him. Fnatic, though, already taken banana control within the first 15 seconds of this round. This is impressive, as it may cause a rotation to come out of Mousesports here. And perhaps Fnatic will be able to manipulate this defense a little bit. Woxic, though, going for the dry peek towards middle, will be able to take down the opposing Opper in JW. Although this round, JW was just working with a deagle. And Woxic knows he should fall off the angle, but man, Woxic being Woxic, he'll just hold the line regardless. Golden, he experienced a similar fate in the previous round, just pushing on forward dry, and he'll meet the same fate this time around as well.
I like how Woxic has 7 HP, he's re-peeking. It's like, come on, man.
It's pretty fun to see. I like it too because he's like, I don't want to give up this position. Most opens would be like, I'll fall back another position, go back to the little statue behind the little water fountain thing. What do you guys call that, by the way? I never.
What
in Arch? That thing that he's looking at right now?
Yes, that thing right there.
I think it's
like a little water fountain thing.
I don't know if it has a little. I don't know.
Just say he's
behind the pole.
Because I was gonna say like
pylon or something. I don't know.
The pole.
I don't know.
Because that's like one of the fallback positions. Obviously, there's
Yeah.
a couple different angles you can take, but that's quite a fun one because it blocks quite a lot, and you can kind of be on either side of it. It's kind of annoying for people to play against, but yeah, it's. Okay. So we'll get to the name of that spot later, but first a quick break. Who's there? We're there. We're talking about coffee, burnt coffee. But anyway,
it was a cool intro. Who's there?
We'll get back into the game now as we have Fnatic tailing the Mousesports team as they started to find a lot of comfort at the end of the first half. Into the pistol already, it is actually Fnatic to get the first pick. So looking kind of good here. JW's got really good position here, able to see from second mid all the way towards the bench, and that gives him a good indication as to how to call for his teammates. The rotation is coming towards B for Fnatic, but they're out of position ultimately, and Mousesports will guarantee that bomb money.
Just one flash on the side of Fnatic for this retake. Not the usual utility you would see from them here. And Mousesports know that they have to take a little bit more control. They're a man down, so we'll be fighting towards this construction position. Kerrigan is up to bat, and he's unable to find anything, but Frozen does take one down. It's just left up to Rops and Woxic here in this 2v3. And Woxic is on the flank right now, but with Rops dying that quickly, his position will surely be discovered. Can he find it, though? He will be able to find one, and the diffuser, actually. It's just Golden in the 1v1 against him, and Woxic is playing the time. But Golden, he's sticking the bomb, and Woxic is able to find the frag. A 1v3 from Woxic there. A huge pistol round victory for Mousesports.
Wow,
that feels like a yikes right there. That's,
oh, no.
That's not good.
You had 3 people looking almost the same way or something.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing, right? If you look at the positioning, what is
What are you guys looking
Crim's
at,
looking
buddies?
at? I mean, I guess they expected him for some reason to come from CT. Maybe there was a miscall. I guess that's possible, but yeah, that he just flew under the radar there. And again, it's like hard to know what the reason for that was, but that's not good for Fnatic. That's like the last thing you want to have happen given the scoreline. They are on a force buy, which again, so it's worth mentioning that I think this is perhaps the best half for a CT force buy of all the maps. It's lots of options, but at the same time, we can see that Mousesports will start things off with the opening pick.
I'm a big fan on force buys on this map as CT is having smokes.
Yeah.
Because it's so powerful just to slow down the choke points, make T's come through the smokes, or you're going to wait. And so that kind of, they can buy a lot of time for the CT.
Crim's left in the cubby here, so the bait set up, and will it work? Crims has to choose the right moments, and he may have... Well, at least he's going to recover the scout, realizes the fast rotation from the T side towards Banana, and it shouldn't be the case that Fnatic can have a defense here. There's so much just brute force coming now for them, but that's through the smoke. I don't really understand, but now Brolan's going to make his way through the smoke with the season! Oh! He's found 2 there, and now there's just 2 remaining for Mousesports, and they're going to go back to A with that bomb. You can see Karrigan will ferry it over. But Brolan, he's picked up an AK-47. He has a smoke grenade. He can absolutely find a way to win this round.
It'll be so difficult, though. He's making his way up mid right now. Karrigan won't be able to hear him. Brolan walking at the most opportune time to disguise his movements here. And Rops is so far away right now. The bomb is planted for Library, but Brolan might find a timing here on Rops. Oh, he's checking the cubby. Can Rops see him? Yes, he does. He swings up just wide enough.
Just turns around and he's right there.
Yeah.
It's like Jason.
He did something that, Brolan did something there that, like, it's like, normally people half check. There's like 90-degree... corners, because they're like, I'm gonna have to worry about all this other stuff. I feel like Brolan was like lingering on the cubby there for a very long time. It's like, yeah, he's definitely not there. Like you've seen the entire position, and I feel like if he was quicker there, he would actually have had time to react to the push. But
yeah, he even had an AK too, so he had the better weaponry. So if he finds that headshot, could have been it.
Well, he's thorough, I suppose. We've got to give him that, but won't work out for him this time. Fnatic are on a full save, some PT50s, a Deagle on Crims, and Golden, and that's really all they have to save for themselves. So, starting to look like Mousesports are really, truly running away with this one.
Yeah, I feel like the Woxic 1v3 pistol might have just broken Fnatic's back, and not only this game, but in my opinion, the series. I mean, it's a long way to go, but Nuke is
it's over. Get out.
It's a map that Mousesports are much more comfortable on than Fnatic, in my opinion.
I like how like the one clutch in like the beginning of the second half of the first map wins the series. It's like they're out, they're done.
I think Fnatic just needed more momentum here. I feel like they've been a very momentum-fueled team online. I almost feel like the way that they played in day 2 of phase 2, where they beat Nordavind, that kind of set them off well for the day. They didn't even do an excellent job closing out Nordavind either. It was just that they picked up steam in the 3rd map and were just able to close it all out. So yeah, they're a team that operates more on momentum than probably anybody, and which online can be just so heartbreaking too, because anything can happen, it feels like.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you, I think, with Fnatic. I think there is an element that, you know, for them, if they're having fun, they're going to play significantly better. And some of, like, you know, you can still have fun if you're on the losing end of things. It's Counter-Strike after all. You can always turn it around. But to lose rounds in that fashion, it just feels awful. It just sucks. And it can really take the wind out of your sails. Again, they're a very experienced team, and so you'd hope that they would have a degree of resilience that would be able to easily deal with stuff like that. But still, the reality is right now they're 6 rounds behind Mousesports. They're back on the 4-buy though. They've got 3 players towards Banana to try and vie for Banana control, or at least try to make Mousesports invest a little bit more and have the ability to defend should they go for a hard take. But Mousesports will fall back into the top mid take. That's an unfortunate whiff from JW, but Brolan has him covered. So Fnatic keeping Mousesports honest.
Yeah, that's great support from him here. And it'll make the Mousesports hit rather one-dimensional as they're making their way up porch. Oh, Woxic. Okay, finally gets the kill on a brawl in there. JW swinging out wide, but isn't able to connect with anything. Smokes on both sides of porch right now, and JW may find an opportunity here. He's playing this close box and finds the no-scope onto Woxic. Chris J remains in the smoke, and Fnatic showing a little bit of life, a little bit of that resilience you were talking about.
Yeah, that's really good to see. And that said, I was surprised in Mousesports' approach there. Perhaps, I mean, so, for those of you that I suppose aren't super familiar with how this map fundamentally works, it's perhaps one of the most consistent maps in terms of how people's defaults look from across all different types of teams. And it usually starts with 3 towards Banana, 2 towards the apartments. You take top Banana control, you rotate, you leave a guy there, and you rotate everyone. So you have 4 people able to attack top mid, and then you decide to go Banana, or you decide to attack the A site. There we saw Mouse was just going for the A site instead of going back towards B, and they were just, I think, testing, can we just win a round off of this, just the basics? And Fnatic, I think, earned some respect there in that they were able to easily deal with that. So we'll have to see if Mousesports can be a little bit more creative in how they play from their default. And there's a bit more aggression on Banana, it seems, from Fnatic, not giving it up nearly as easily.
Oh, I don't know if they know that the Molly at logs. Okay, well, it doesn't even matter. Flusha is able to take down Frozen. A nice opening pick once again, but a lot of damage being dealt on the side of Mousesports. They tag Golden and Flusha to very low HP, but that's a great nade to soften up these oncoming terrorists here. Kerrigan may want to press on forward, but it'll actually be Brawlin, the aggressor, but he's unable to find the frag.
Lots of movement there from the CTs. They realized that after they had that initial control Banana, they rotated towards A. Now they're sort of in the dark. They don't really want to keep players deep on top mid and give Mousesports an opportunity to just maybe get a lucky pick and just be able to swing into the site. So they're trying to really play the clock here, make life difficult for Mousesports. And there they go, bursting out of the apartments. Nice first frag from Crims. Definitely buying a lot of time here. Now Prolan is in the action. JW is lurking with the AWP on the side once again, going shotgun mode already to at the very least. But he may not need to. There's 8 seconds remaining. Another headshot will befall Mousesports. And Robs doesn't really like what he sees. He's backing away, or he'll try to at least. Flusha is hunting him.
He smells his aftershave. He almost got him, but he didn't.
That's pretty close.
That was really well played by Fnatic. Like, they knew the perfect moments to rotate and the perfect moments to kind of fall back and be passive to really exploit the fact that Mousesports were a player down and that they hadn't really gained enough ground.
Yeah, it's good that Fnatic is putting pressure on the Banana side, making it harder for Mousesports to take it, make them expend some utility at B if they want to take that Banana control. Pretty good textbook stuff. JW, though, missing a shot that maybe Woxic is, would usually hit.
Alex, it looks like Fnatic might be finding a second wind right now.
Yeah, I love to be proven wrong if it means we get to see more good Counter-Strike, in all honesty. I was worried about Fnatic here. I was worried that they were maybe just going to keel over, but I'm glad they're not. I'm glad they're showing more signs of life. I'm glad that some of the individuals are stepping up, and they're playing off of each other very well, too. It feels like every time that a player is challenged in bracket, there's another player that's there to cover his fallback, or at least throw some kind of nade. There's been some good flashes as well in this position, and Fnatic are doing a great job locking it down. I think Mousesports may have to realize sooner than later that Banana is probably a point of emphasis that they should consider. But as of right now, JW just taking Rops's butt right off. That was an interesting way to be peaked. And he's ready for it. Flusha playing the corner angle with an AK, will be able to buy some time for his team. He spots that player, drops down a smoke, and quick on the rotation will be Golden.
And that smoke's not going to dissipate until the 20th second in the round. So at that point, Mousesports are just so committed. They've got to make it work, and there's nothing that really can go wrong. There's no time to adjust. Oh, great transfer there from Golden. Although Flusher does pick up the kill, Golden is doing really nice work with the AK.
Yeah, I thought that was him too, but actually somehow JW finds the last 2 kills with the USP, just swinging on through.
Stealing the kills.
I was noticing towards the end of that round, it was like 20 seconds left, and Fnatic had a good amount of utility left, and that's sometimes rare on your CT side when you feel like you have to toss smokes and flashes just to stall the Ts. But Fnatic has pretty good discipline on holding on to their nades when they have to have it, because on a map like this, you need retake nades if they plant the bomb and then close plant scenarios.
Well, very fast effort here from Mousesports to get that banana control. There are 3 on banana for, or rather, the B site for Fnatic, although one is floating back towards CT. And Crimson Golden have lost a lot of health, but actually 3 players from Mousesports have been chunked down considerably as well. So the damage exchange battle, I suppose, is slightly in favor of Fnatic, actually, after all the early grenades have been exchanged in this round. And interestingly, Mousesports are really slow, and actually, I was going to say slow to do anything towards apartments, but in fact, they aren't actually doing anything towards apartments. They're now funneling everyone back from the bottom of second mid, and it looks like they just want an all-out B attack. So I'm not sure if there was like a change of plan or something, but we're about to see a pretty heavy B hit.
Yeah, and there's not too much utility to work with for Fnatic, but it doesn't even seem to matter. Golden just sprays right through that smoke there. Quick on the rotation already is Crims, and he has another smoke. They could just layer these at this point, and Mousesports will have no opportunities. Looks like Mousesports recognize that, and they have to try to brute force it through the smoke. Golden will find yet another kill. Kerrigan, though, along with Rops, connecting to find those 2 players in the bomb site. Crims, the lone survivor, and he's not able to get it done. Woxic, every kill it feels like this round, just through smoke. And Brawlin has to try to make up some ground here. He has position towards the construction right now. Woxic will be here to challenge him, and he'll be successful.
Oh my god, I did not see Mousesports winning this round. With, like, as you said, like, there was this opportunity to just change smokes, and for Mousesports not to have any... There was no comfortable play that Mousesports had, or no advantageous play, I think, in many respects. So they managed to really outperform Fnatic pretty heavily there, which is very surprising, and that makes this game, or puts this game in an interesting place, because Fnatic have largely been, I think, they're starting to dominate on this CT side. They found their footing, absolutely, and it felt like they were a step ahead of Mousesports, but again, Mousesports is finding a way to kind of brute force their way into the side, hitting shots from disadvantage, and upsetting Fnatic's economy, because although Fnatic will have a 4-buy now, they've spent everything. So if Mousesports win this round, they're likely going to win another round straight afterwards against an eco, and they're going to be on 15. So Fnatic basically have to win this round. It's non-negotiable.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake on Fnatic's part. I'll talk about in a second here. Some aggressive off plays from Flusher and JW, actually. But I think the key mistake of that last round is Fnatic had a 2-man advantage, and the entire team is still spamming smoke. You know what I mean? Like, no one's watching from the come-out smoke. They're spamming the smoke. And as soon as they have to reload, they have to hide, and that's when Mousesports made their attack and got pretty much 3 easy kills in the bomb side instead of Fnatic holding like a nice crossfire kind of setup.
I think they just... I can't imagine that they expected that full flood through the smoke. It was...
But they're all spamming, so like I'm sure...
Yeah.
I'm sure Mouse was like, wait, they're all just spamming here. They have to reload.
Yeah, that was interesting. And Fnatic putting an emphasis on B early in this round with 3 players. Finally, they'll rotate one on back. But still, Mousesports were able to acquire this space, and man, it looks like we might just see a repeat of the previous round. Golden and Flusha do have a couple of smokes. The difference this time around is that they at least have a flashbang. That can really help with a strong defense on the site. But the exec comes out. It's just Golden isolated on the bomb site at first oranges. He's able to find one. Can he find more? It does not look like that'll be the case. There's the flash from Flusha, but it isn't able to accomplish anything given he has no teammates to work off of it. 4v4 situation, and there's still some decent utility on the side of Mousesports. There goes that final smoke, which refreshes CT out, and it will buy Mousesports a lot of time to find some positioning.
And we do have a single molly on Broland there for Fnatic, so there definitely are options, but that's a strong duel for Chris J to win. The molly does in fact go to quad, but not before the position is abandoned by Chris J. So it doesn't look like there's many options here now for Fnatic. We'll have a smoke toss down to allow them to escape and keep their weapons. But this is, well, okay, so this is not the worst case for Fnatic. We talked about how severe it could be if they lost this round, and we were talking about a case where they lose all their weapons as well. So in this instance, they will be able to drop a couple weapons and have something that resembles a full buy. But the same principle follows, though. This round is a must-win, an absolute must-win. You can see that Mousesports heavily favored now there on the odds. We knew it all along. We knew it all along.
We knew. And Mousesports did a pretty good job of just isolating that one person in the B bomb site, and that's the hard part of having an Opper and Rifler in B, and the Opper's like more of a passive spot. There's a bunch of smokes and flashes, and now, well, the Opper can't Opper anymore. So it makes it pretty difficult to sometimes be passively if the other team's on point with their flashes and smokes.
Yeah. And I'm curious as to how Fnatic is burning through all their utility, it feels like, in every round of Banana so early on, so that they don't have too much to work with on a counter exec there. JW peeking down mid, not able to find a kill. But once again, Golden has no nades left with 1 minute and 15. He needs to find a kill from this position, or at least Flusha does, because they have no nades left. Again, there's 1 minute left, and so they just have to try to fight. And Golden does just that, recognizes how dire it is for them if they are backed up into that site. So he takes matters into his own hands and is able to find a kill, and that secures the Banana position. Finally, after all of that utility usage, they have complete control of that space. They know that they don't have to worry about a Mousesports exec at this point, because Flusha is posted aggressively on the angle. That'll force the hand of Mousesports towards that A bomb site.
It's going to be interesting to see how Mousesports can find a recovery here. They are lacking time. They're going to be having to force their hands. Golden is holding down the arch position, so it's looking like a pretty strong setup here for Fnatic. Oh, that angle really pays off for Golden. Carrigan pre-aiming a different position and gets crushed, and now there's a desperation rotation into the AWP of Flusha. This is not going to work, and we see the save immediately from Mousesports, and this is exactly what Fnatic needed to have happen. I was going to say that, you know, just before that kill went down, it looked like they're going to have all guns going into the next round, but at the very least, it will be 4, which is enough.
Yeah, 14-10. Fnatic desperately needed round right here. And as a point that you made earlier, Alex, about the B guys using too many utility, a nice adjustment that you could possibly make is having one of the A guys come down and nade at the start of the round, because as we've been seeing, a lot of teams tend to be B kind of default heavy. So if you want to have that extra nade set in B, just call someone from A, you know? Like, hey, come over here. Smiley this for me. Why not? Nade this. Be cool. Be a fun time.
Indeed.
Everyone's doing it.
Yeah, we love fun time. We love
It's like peer pressure.
Oh, interesting. There's like a boost there to really ensure that Rops was able to kind of walk jump onto the balcony. I actually haven't seen anyone doing that, because you can actually do it silently.
Yeah.
So I guess that just guarantees it.
New meta.
People really like to do that when they have halls pops or like boiler floods, so that you could get everyone in apartments silently. And doesn't even matter if Chris J is silent. JW is able to take him down. Good opening pick. But Mousesports have actually silently scaled out towards bracket. Interested to see how Fnatic decide to contest this. They know that this position is available, and their nades will connect beautifully. That's so much damage actually inflicted already. And you fool him once, but actually it's Rops this time, not Carrigan, who takes down Crims. Good off angle being used, but Rops will get the better of him. And really, there's not a strong in for Mousesports here, but the A site is a little bit weakened because of that frag. And Fnatic's defense is spread very thin and very passively at this point. If there was more utility on the side of Mouse, they would have a great chance to get into one of these sites. But without even a smoke towards CT, this will be such a dangerous cross for them here. Flusha holding the angle with the op, and jumping through it is just Woxic. That's the bomb crossing towards water, and at the end of the day, you do want it to end up at B anyways, but that will cause the rotations to come in. But Rops, another nice kill from him. Kerrigan tries to pick up where he left off, but it'll be Golden who takes him down.
Reasonable damage done by Mousesports. But yeah, Fnatic are really finding teeth and nail, and you just wonder, how would this game have looked had that pistol round on the second half, had that not just have gone awfully badly, and right at the last second for Fnatic.
And also the anti-eco that they lost earlier in the half too. It's just a lot of those things could add up.
Not really loving this buy for Mousesports. They have been losing the war of attrition at Banana in the last gunfight, and this does not give them a great chance either. And if they're not pressuring Fnatic with their utility towards Banana as well, Fnatic can do just that. There's really no hope to take it at this point cleanly unless you are able to flush it off of that aggressive angle. And it looks like Mousesports are gearing up towards some kind of A play, given that the majority of their players are towards alt mid and apartments. And there's been a long time that's passed already in this round, and Mouse don't really have any ground to show for it.
We do have the top mid take coming through, and we may see the... oh, actually, Frozen doesn't have a flashbang. He's the guy at T ramp at the moment. Normally, you'd want him to throw that flash to the half wall, but we'll get into that later as we do have Christian trying to fight for control here towards this arch position. There goes this quick swing, and Golden juking pretty effectively with the MP9 there, showing how powerful it can be. Is able to get the kill, and there's the smoke as well to make life even worse. My goodness, JW straight through the smoke, and all of a sudden it was just Rops left. Mousesports, yeah, they were unable to do anything in this round, and just as you said, that banana control kind of pushed Mousesports into playing completely into Fnatic's hands, and the only response surely in the following rounds for Mousesports is that they must find ways to challenge the banana play.
Yeah, you can't let Fnatic have 4 players today at this point in the game. You need to make Fnatic a little bit uncomfortable. And Mousesports isn't doing a great job at that just yet. The decision to buy in the previous round and have such low utility across the board really sealed the deal for them at that banana position, which has been just so crucial this game for both halves.
It really has, and it's going to be another save for Mousesports. So Fnatic getting uncomfortably close in this first map to Mousesports, and this is the first of 3 maps, as you can see under the mini-map. Those are the maps that we'll be playing in this series, and this is an elimination match, and we're still in the group stages here for Summit 6, and these teams are looking to make those RMR points. Flush are able to deal with the swing, and it's a non-issue here on the B site for Fnatic. Golden is a little bit low, but the teammates are in position, so unceremonious exit of the round for Mousesports, but now another buy round. And once again, Mousesports have a chance to rectify the situation, but are we going to see that adaptation? I think as you said, you know, it's got to revolve around either, if they do give up banana, just finding a way to challenge the deep banana smoke and go for a retake, or just a full-on take of it. They need to somehow take that away from Fnatic.
Yeah, both teams tend to having a pretty good CT side, and their T sides are, you know, consistent of defaults. And if defaults aren't working too well, maybe want to try to change the pace a little bit, or maybe at least try working on a choke point fast and then slowing it down a little bit, because on the CT side, both teams were pretty good at mixing it up, you know, of their positionings and stacks. It's just hard to default off that.
So looking for that retake of banana, Mousesports held onto their utility to make sure that they would be the ones better off on that utility exchange on banana. And they don't actually, it doesn't look like they're going to play anybody up top banana. They're actually pushing everyone back. And in the timing in which it looks like they're taking top banana, they're going into top mid with every player. So They are guaranteed more or less to be against 3 players on this A site, but there's the swing, the trade's through, but oh my, Crims gets the trade after he dies with that Molotov that he laid down, and now it's up to the remainder of Mousesports to try to make their way to A, but they are stuck here and the rotation's coming as well.
Oh, JW, he's in a terrible spot with AWP. Especially with Rocks is right around the corner. Brawling. Nice cleanup. And Golden there with off angle in middle. So just in a matter of a split second, Mousesports just lose all their players, and Fnatic tied the game up to 14-14. I mean, at the start of the half, we thought the game was over. Huh, Alex?
Yeah, it feels like every Mousesports hit at A has been just so ineffective and actually disconnected. You could see in that round there, they molly towards bracket, and one player runs through the molly, the others wait behind it. There's no potential for a trade, and slowly and surely, Fnatic just picked them apart. It just doesn't seem like there's that set play from Mouse towards A, which I would have expected by now to come out, even when they have that bracket control. There's a variety of set strats that they've shown before, and yet it's not really happening for them. And the fact that they still have not really found an answer to retake Banana has been rather concerning, given that it is definitely a hallmark of Kerrigan's play, and it's something that he's shown a lot of innovation on with various smokes at the top of Banana. He's thrown ones at the car, ones that are at the sandbags, and one that's kind of around the half wall too, and yet I haven't really seen that variety from him in this game, and it doesn't seem like Fnatic has really felt that kind of challenge or pressure either.
Yeah, and it's cool to see all the small things that Fnatic are doing well. I'll hold that for the moment, as we do get a full-out arch push coming in from the Mousesports side, but they are outgunned, outmatched ultimately. They do manage to take down JW, but the cost is pretty heavy. Now it's just a desperation play into the A side. Woxic does find a pick, but again, the CTs, even though it's a 3v3, have a lot to work with. In fact, although as I say that, there's only one Molotov and one smoke, which can certainly go a long way, but there's absolutely opportunity here. Rops has collected that AK-47, and we know how deadly he is with that. Danger is high here for Fnatic. They need to find a way in, and it doesn't really look like they have many opportunities. That bomb is halfway. Flusher takes down Frozen. But there's Rops doing a lot of damage to P250, announces his presence from Graveyard, and Woxic will get the headshot down to 1 HP, but he can't find it in time, and Flusher, can he get this defuse? It's going to be fairly close, but he looks good for that retake. That's a pretty tumultuous time. My God, Fnatic looked like they were going to be fine.
Uh-oh. Call timeout, Mousesports. Got to figure this out.
This game has really slipped away from them. They had a great opportunity here. Would have loved to see the timeout as well, but it doesn't look like it's coming.
Yeah, it's we see their CT side. They had all these setups and everything. It looked coordinated. And T side, well, it doesn't look as strong, obviously, as their CT side. It is usually easier to come up with more setups. And that, I mean, how can you do that? How can you counter that?
Yeah, that's beautiful with the flashbang. Just Fnatic are doing just a couple simple things early round, but then mostly reacting to Mousesports and where they choose to invest. We've seen that with Banana multiple times. Fnatic are ready to invest only as an act of equal force to in response to what Mousesports are doing, which that really wears the clock down, and it also gives Fnatic a better sense to more consistently utilize their own utility. And it's so important to hold on to your utility on Inferno, so you need a good argument to use it, and Fnatic are allowing Mousesports to give them those arguments. And with this 5v4 situation, they're pretty comfortable here, just playing the 2-3 setup. Big Kerrigan harassing the B side, trying to create pressure, and Mousesports is unclear at this point exactly where they want to commit. The bomb is top mid, and it seems like Kerrigan is rotating to help them. So it looks like an A play, but all the way through the porch position is going to be impossible. Without a split, this is so difficult to attack the A site. The crossfires are so dangerous of the CTs to deal with, and they're just getting completely ravaged. It's a no contest on the A side, 16-14, and Mousesports towards the end of this game were a shadow of their former selves. They looked so absolutely lost.
That was 14-9 at one point. That was
Oh my
7
God.
rounds in a row for Fnatic to close that game out. That is, I can't believe it. I mean, Fnatic though. I mean, I gotta hand it to them, showing a lot of resilience, as you said. I counted them out personally. I thought they looked deflated. I thought they weren't communicating at a high enough level, but a couple individuals coming up at the right times, and we'll discuss it more though after a quick break. I'm glad that happened. Actually, that was just a little bit too sad.
Oh, that was going so well for Mousesports, but these damn meddling kids. Fnatic managed to bring it back on the CT side, and it kind of makes sense because Fnatic, they know how to play a CT side. I always felt like their T sides are where they had the most inconsistency, so it worked out. But you know, where were the failings there that you saw, Eric, for Mousesports? Like, where did they lose the traction? Why did they lose the traction?
Well, it's almost the same thing for both teams, where their T side was like these slow, finding info, let's play some, let's hold these angles. But it's hard because as their CT sides, they're like, for example, for Fnatic, they were super passive, holding angles, and as soon as they found all the info and when Mousesports was, there to attack, it was like 20 seconds in the round left. And so it didn't have that much room to fall back, to take other bomb sites or other choke points. It's like Fnatic knew that they were there because of how late in the round was and how much info that Fnatic had on their CT side, like taking down the banana almost every single round and stuff like that. It's like these little micro players that just gave the edge for the CT side on Fnatic.
Yeah, one thing I have to say, Alex, is that Mousesports were doing a lot of the basics that you expect on a T side of Inferno, but we didn't really see they didn't have much confidence set piecing into B, and we didn't see any arch splits when they did attack A, really. I don't think I really recall a proper gun round arch split, which is really the only most effective and consistent way to attack the A side. So how do you account for this for Mousesports?
It was actually odd. It felt like both teams on their T sides weren't too interested in arch in general, which is rare for high-level Inferno play, and the only thing that was, in my opinion, successful for both of these teams was Banana in B, and that felt like it was the entire game for me. It felt like Mousesports recognized that, actually. They had a little bit of trouble on the CT side after the pistol and anti-ecos, but then they recognized that, yeah, our best chances were at B. They won a couple of rounds over there, and they brought it to a 14-9 scoreline. Felt like they would just keep going to that, but Fnatic made the right adjustments. Fnatic were able to begin to pressure that position, and it was off of, one, the unrelenting pressure of Golden just getting down there and recognizing that we can't sit in B. We can't sit in B if we have no nades. We need to just take this fight to them. And he did a good job at doing that, just forcing the issue, running all the way down to the Broom Cubby and taking that player out. And then after that, it wasn't as much Golden as it was Flusha, who was unrelenting when Mousesports wanted to retake Banana away from them. Flusha just held his ground. He was not phased by the flashes. He wasn't phased by the Molotovs. And he was just picking them apart. And Mouse just said, okay, we're taking too many casualties. We have to force it up A. And as you mentioned, Arch was not really used for some reason between both of these teams. And that just makes the A defense so easy for Fnatic.
Yeah, it did feel like it came to a sort of an awkward place, but you have a big reset now as we go into the second map. It will be Nuke, and Nuke is again, I feel like Mousesports were the favorite team for me in this series, and Nuke is another reason why I think that they're pretty good on Nuke. They've got all of the tools to have success on this map. Do we see them having similar troubles here?
Not really. I think CT's a bit harder on Nuke, just because it's easier to bait rotations, like taking outside or even in the ramp. And I think Mousesports looked pretty good in the last map. They kind of dropped the ball a lot on their T side, but I think on a map like Nuke, you're able to control the CTs a bit more as a T than on a map like Inferno, where the CTs can just sit back and wait. You can't do that. You can't really sit back too much and wait on Nuke, because then you can go outside the lore or whatever, take over anything you want.
Yeah, I think we'll be headed to a third map. As for Nuke, I think Mousesports will show a deeper level of tactics here, will abuse the rotations of Fnatic, like Eric said. I think they'll be able to find openings, find opportunities in ways that Fnatic might not be ready for. Fnatic has had difficulty on this map against Heroic, we saw that, and against G2 as well. And so that level of play is similar in vein to what I expect Mousesports to come out with. I just hope Mousesports don't fall flat and for some reason not recognize that there's some part of the map. In this last game, it felt like Arch was underutilized, and I hope that Kerrigan will come with a slightly stronger game plan. Both of these teams right now, their backs are against the wall. This is such an important game for them. It's an elimination match, and that's when Kerrigan has proven that he can perform the best. At the same time, though, and scarily, that's when Fnatic also shows up.
Well, speaking of which, and showing up, like, what do we expect the focuses to be here in terms of winning conditions with performances? Are we thinking about the AWPers? Are we thinking about certain aggressive rifle plays? Like, how do we see this game being won by either of these teams?
I think how they handle the outside. If you get picked off early outside, or you're able to hold, like, maybe outside CT spawn, stop some rotations and stuff like that as a CT. I think outside is going to be like the focal point for the most part.
Do you think outside control as well is going to be where this game could be decided?
Yeah, definitely. That's a position that Mousesports just love to take away. They also like ramp as well. And Flusha, though, he's kind of feeling himself at this point. So that's a scary prospect if you're Mousesports, that you want to challenge Flusha, who was one of the primary reasons, in my opinion, that Fnatic were able to come back in that game and secure Inferno. So if he's still performing at a high level at that position, Mousesports is going to be in for in a world of hurt. But the thing is about Mousesports that I have to bring up is that Kerrigan does such a great job if things are going wrong on the extremities, which he usually favors. They have a lot of great A execs. They have a lot of plays that they can fall back on, and I don't think we saw that level of execution towards A, for example, on Inferno today from them, but Kerrigan's good at just calling that. If the defaults aren't going well for them, he simplifies things for his players.
It's a very good point. It's always really fun to watch how Kerrigan adjusts. He's one. I think that's definitely one of the things he's certainly known for. And and speaking about outside control, one thing we have to, or it immediately comes to mind for me, is the AWPing. And there's obviously many different ways to control outside, but the AWPing is the first thing that comes to mind. And we have JW versus Woxic. And I did notice a few shots missed by JW and a bit of trouble had there for him in terms of his performance with the AWP. Are we expecting Woxic to be able to find a better result there as we move into Nuke?
Yes, his outside is annoying. He's like a lot of tight angles behind the boxes, just waiting for you to elbow peek or there's a small gap in the smoke. He's just annoying because he's just peek, shoot, fall back, peek, shoot, fall back, and it's just all these off angles which AWPers are generally pretty good at hitting.
Well, here we go. It is Nuke indeed, map 2 between Mousesports and Fnatic. We have Fnatic a map up after their victory on Inferno, and this is an elimination match. The loser of this match is out of Summit 6, so it's all on the line here today, and Mousesports will start off on that T side, so maybe we'll see some of the Karrigan shenanigans in terms of the calls very quickly here. But so far it's a slow start, and it looks like ramp is the focus for Mousesports.
Frozen scaling on down with the bomb already. Looks like Mousesports are very interested in hitting this lower site. And the molly goes to control. Looks like they'll just have full space here towards this lower site. At this point, it looks like it's going to be a matter of how the retake commences for Fnatic. 5-on-5 right now. Dualies in hand for Brolin. In fact, both hands, of course. And he'll be the first to scale on forward. He's looking for that fight, jumping on forward, but Woxic is able to find 2 from that position. Golden and Crims are able to trade back with 2 of their own, but Chris J is still there and fighting. But Golden, picking up those dual pistols, Akimbo style, is able to find a kill and takes down Karrigan as well. Just Rops now in the 1v2, and he scales on forward from the control window immediately. The defuse is coming out, so the fight goes the way of JW. May not have mattered, though, because Golden was already on it with a kit.
That looked really good for Mousesports at first, and then Fnatic just swooped right in. And the Golden had 3 kills with 3 different guns.
Yeah, yeah. It's a bit, I just when I was like looking at the top right, the kill tracker, and I see the Julie kill from him, I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's only one person that bought the Julies. It wasn't Golden, so he like picked them up and owned someone with them. That's pretty awesome to see, and it's crazy because I again, like, Fnatic look really good off the bat here on map 2 as well, and Mousesports, they've got a full save on their hands. We see a couple Deagles, Frozen and Rops carrying those. So what they're looking to do here with no utility is to, and the couple Deagles that they have, is to get a kill or 2. That's really the kind of win condition in the sense of the objective that they're looking to accomplish in this round. Because without utility, you can't really gain ground or access to a bomb plant. So the other objective is harming the Akonis economy, and that's what they can do with the Deagles. At least that's the plan, at least.
Oh, and looks like they'll be able to find one already. Flusha, who I was talking about earlier as being such a pest at ramp, actually was taken down through the smoke, it looks like. But the majority of Mousesports is still towards outside. Will they be able to fall off of this position or perhaps find a couple more kills? Interestingly enough, Rops hasn't really pressed on forward at ramp, and Mousesports hasn't taken much ground despite finding that kill. Seems like they are a little bit worried about maybe a player being in that ramp room or lower, and Woxic,
hey!
Collateral kill somehow there through his teammate and is able to pick up another. And I think, Dan, this is what you were talking about. Mousesports may have already accomplished more or less their objective here. The 2 kills on, but now that they have more to win, they will be headed towards lower. Golden, though, lies in wait. Doesn't seem like Karrigan was communicated where that player exactly was, and Golden is able to pick up the 3-piece to end it all. So still did decent damage being done by Mouse.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, the only investment was the Deagle. We bought 2 Deagles. That's $1,400. There's nothing else, and they removed, I suppose, effectively something to the tune of $3,000 to $4,000 of equipment from the Fnatic players each. So definitely, you know, we try not to do math on air, but you know, I'll let you guys do the rest of the calculations.
It's like 5x. It's like a 5 times the amount of they invested. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely some value there. But it's the first gun rounds, and Chrisjay is going to not expect Brolin to be so close in the hut position. That's a huge win, because now Brolin can just play from this hot spot. Oh my god, that smoke as well is going to create huge issues. He can't be traded at all. And now Mousesports is just really stuck here. Rops is trying to do what he can with the AK. He's finding a lot of frags there. Their headshots raining in. But now it's down to Frozen. He's given him a chance, but JW finds it after picking up the AK. And, oh wow, Brolin. That's the god stuff there on the site, on the A side. That smoke was genius.
That's one of the scary things about playing Fnatic on this map, is that if they had momentum from the previous coming into it, they can just stop those good execs from Mousesports. That was one of the set pieces. I thought that was probably going to be coming out later after a couple of defaults from Mousesports if they didn't have success, but they just throw it out on gun round 1 and it works to very little effect.
And now we're back on the pistols. I mean, to be fair, Mousesports did a great job previously with just 2 deagles and nothing else. They have a lot more to work with here. The smokes, the wall of smokes outside will allow them to quickly scale down secrets, and that's going to force a rotation out of Fnatic. Flusher just got a lot of info towards the lobby, and it's looking like JW is going to pick them away from the stairs position, having great success. So actually not finding really any value here. Chrisjay's the last hope in that sense. 1 kill would be pretty good at this point. And he's looking for it. He's going to find it. So, alright, I think that is a decent amount of damage. They can be happy now.
Oh, drive back.
And I think Fnatic are equally like, we could have lost more. We're pretty happy with that as well. It's like one of those kind of sweet spots for both teams.
Yeah, I think both teams are decently happy about the result of that round. Probably Fnatic more so, given that they were able to keep 4 guns into it. But Mousesports here, I'm interested in their approach. They haven't really thrown out a proper gun round default just yet, and we'll see how they're able to pressure these Fnatic players into this one.
I wonder if last round was a tell for Mousesports. When they rushed lower, they had JW down there at the stairs already, so I wonder if they're going to somehow use that to, abuse it on their default here. Because Fnatic does have 2 people kind of playing towards outside. You have Golden by the red box. And you have, I think, someone coming from the stairs. The JW's already at the stairs with an op. So this is a very dangerous setup. Oh, and that hurts.
Oh, wow. Looks like Flush will be the man challenged at ramp. He's playing off of his smoke right now. Will he be able to find more than one is the question. And he'll actually back off of it. Expects some kind of play from Mousesports, so he'll be jiggling here close up. Should be able to get this molly down in time. He does do it. A little bit risky on the peak. And now he's just flirting with these Mousesports players. He knows that he has them all stopped in their tracks. That's a great molly to get him out of his position, actually. Oh, but the flash comes in to help him out, but he isn't able to find anything. Golden, though, will. From the J-Hall, he's able to get 2 kills, and it's just down to Frozen and Rops, 2 versus 3.
It would certainly be an unlikely victory here for Mousesports, but it is possible for sure. But you can see that Fnatic are very good in terms of when they've spotted some players, and in that time when Flusher was spending so much to just delay his opposition, Crims was able to sneak out into that forward position, which does catch Rops, and Frozen has very little health to work with here, so we can't expect too much from him, especially with the time, and Crims will finish him off with a more forward position as well. So again, I think we do have to just really be in awe of how well Flusher was able to just delay them there, just really forcing them into a position where they have to spend the time to molly him, and it's just all of that time allowed Fnatic so much movement around the rest of the map, and also obviously Flusher was able to get support as well. So Mousesports really looking like the worst team at the moment. We'll have to see if they're able to find a recovery. This has got to be a full upper set piece with the Tech 9s.
It's upper split from outside as well. Oh, maybe they slow it down.
Wow. Fnatic are doing such a good job to not give Mousesports anything in these rounds. Good hold from Brolin as well from the opposite vent. Looking for more, but his teammates are all there to support him. Feels like every Fnatic player right now is in the right position. That previous round as well, it was just the perfect call to start things off for Fnatic too. Just heavy outside presence. They know that Mousesports aren't going to be going to the same A exec 2 gun rounds in a row, and it likely would be an outside default. And man, every which way right now, Fnatic is seemingly outplaying Mousesports. It's this is not the Fnatic you want to face if you're in an elimination game on the Mouse side.
Yes, their CT sides have been amazing on this map and the last one so far. And you kind of, if you're Mousesports, you kind of think, how do we crack this nut? You know, it's been almost non-existent T sides for Mousesports at the moment, and you got to come to this point. Well, you're down 6-0. What is the best strat that we have, or the easiest one to execute? And I still think it's the outside. At least take it to outside. Either get control of lower or the warehouse. I think that's a good starting point on their default. And then from there, they can maybe work the map a little bit better or have a little more success when the Fnatic's trying to run around.
Indeed. Well, there you go. Rob's just straight out there looking to do the damage. He's only able to get one, but that's enough to allow his teammates forward. Golden able to find so much damage, though, with the double. And Flusher now with the utility from Heaven is going to try to do what he can. JW with, looks like an angle with that AWP in from main. That's a flick and a half onto Woxic, leaving Frozen in the 1 versus 2. Plenty of time. The CTs have given him some room to work with. He's just going to have to commit to the plan and pray that he doesn't get peeked, and he won't. Frozen able to maneuver for the after plant, and oh, he has read this. Has he read this? Or maybe I'm wrong, because he's turning his back to JW, and the Tech 9 comes out to finish it off. And
that's such a good move. I can't, for JW to flank all the way, you know, outside T-spawn like that, that's just, that's unbelievable.
It's crazy, too, because Frozen realizes that he has to stick the plant and just pray like something like that's happened.
JW hasn't died yet. Ooh. 7 rounds in. This guy is playing so well. This is so difficult for Mouse. They've given every gun round now. They've had 3 gun rounds, all of which have been slightly different looks. One flat-out A-exec, one kind of an outside heavy default. That one kind of an A-exec with some later pacing off of a ROPS fake. And yeah, there it is, JW. An immortal man in this game thus far. But as soon as we say that,
that's what you guys get. Put all your eggs in one basket.
Cursed. Well, Carrigan's 007, so I guess we have that. That's at least. But
Carrigan.
We'll see if Mousesports can find a conversion, or you know, they have a 5 versus 4, so loads of time on the clock. So the question is, if you're an in-game leader, you should have a lot of different ways to play your team into more advantageous positions in a 5 versus 4, based on the reactions you expect the CTs to make when they go down a player, and then there's a time for reset. That does allow you to figure out which variables you should expect as the T side. Situation does become easier to read. We have 40 seconds now, and it's definitely still quite a slow look. Mousesports are setting themselves up here around the ramp position and lobby. Actually going back into lobby, away from the trophy room. And okay, so it looks like an upper split, but they have a lurk in secret as well. So it does give them additional options here. But they have to get a move on because they need time so that if something goes wrong, they can adjust. And Broman's going to be found at the back of the site, and he'll be taken down. So Mousesports looking successful.
That was an excellent Molotov to get him out of that position. Golden here from Heaven, trying to find some kind of opportunity. Looks like Fnatic may just give this one up, though. They don't seem too keen on going for it. Player in Big Garage in Frozen may have an opportunity to find a retreating Golden, and he does. So that's some good damage for Mousesports. Thankfully, on the side of Fnatic, they have acquired a lot of cash here. All the players above 4K right now. Crim's at 4.8. So that is a good round victory for Mousesports, a very good conversion from them. So it seems like they may have found their in on the back of Woxic's opening pick. That was a different look for them, to say the least. Seems like the Riflers have been getting involved more to start some of these rounds. And that all just goes back to Frozen finding that plant in the round prior. If he hadn't found that, Woxic may not have had the funds to buy that op. So good stuff as Mousesports look to find a little bit of footing in this game.
It's like they tuned in on the cast and like, okay, let's do outside default, let's hold.
7-1. Ooh, the Brazil round.
Oh, don't you dare.
I know someone put that in my head recently. I was like,
don't you dare.
And now I just can't, every time I just see it.
Forever brainwashed.
Yeah, exactly. I apologize.
He doesn't.
So, okay, this time Mousesports lose a player, so it's going to be interesting to see if there's any levels of ingenuity from them to find their way back from this disadvantage. JW is looking with that AWP from the hot position into lobby. An unexpected position. He's not going to get fortunate enough for there to be a player there, but he does get the information that there aren't players around that area. No one's crossing, and so that is information that can be useful to kind of put the pieces together as to what Mousesports are doing with their round. Lots of noise made outside as Frozen should surely be heard running quickly towards the Heaven and Hell positions. And finally, oh no! JW whiffs the shot. I thought he was good for that one, but the trade is there. Golden's responsible, but the bomb's outside and Frozen's traded onto Crims. And there's 40 seconds left. This starts to get weird now.
Yeah, there's not too much ground to actually work with on the side of Mousesports. They have this outside position, but it's hard to actually breach a bomb site, given that outside is clearly not one. Looks like they'll be making their way both up Heaven. And with 20 seconds remaining, this will be all up to Flusha and Golden, who are waiting around the squeaky door position right now. Golden opens the door and recognizes that the play won't be coming from Mini at this point, and Flusha, with that information, looks to scale on out. Golden, though, doesn't even want to allow Mousesports to find that position, but he misses a shot, and it's a crucial one at that. Woxic is able to take him down. Now Flusha looking for the 1v2 on the site, waiting for his teammate. He will not, and it will cost his life. He's able to go 1-for-1, though, and it's just Woxic, and he needs to win this one for the sake of Mousesports. He whiffs the shot, and Flusha still remains on the site. But Woxic is tagged so low. He has to hit this next shot, or it's lights out for him and his team. But the bomb is planted on the other side of the silo. He has to push on forward, and Flusha is able to take him down. A big victory for Fnatic that really hurts the chances of Mousesports for the remainder.
Woxic does not want to pick up an AK in a one-on-one. He's up to his death.
Yeah, man, he's Woxic.
He's Woxic.
He's Woxic.
It's true, but it's so difficult sometimes in those scenarios to try to, like, you have to hit that shot. I can kind of argue saying that hut angle kind of favors the upper, but that bomb's plant did not favor him at all.
Yeah, we are already seeing Mousesports struggle here, but you know, if they can get to 5 or 6 rounds, then which is still possible, then you know it's not too bad. And they have another 4 buy here, so it's although it's been not the best story here for them so far, it's still there's still room for it to all change, for there to be a great twist in the narrative. We do get the late HE for the door, and then the smoke, which actually Rops was the player that innovated that initial lurk style, where you blow the door up and use that smoke as a lurking tool. Cool to see that he's still on that. It's well within the meta. Brolin will be able to deal with Chris J. He's been having a great game, and no, that's so unfortunate.
JW.
What a smart play, finding that timing.
It leaves Frozen in the 1v3 now. Actually recognizes that ramp is open for the taking, and with a minute left, he will likely be able to find a plant, unless that player in JW, who is already broken this round a little bit, looks to stop Mouse in their tracks. And
whoa,
he does just that. Just shoots him right through the smoke there. JW playing around the smokes beautifully with the off. Not something you see every day, but it's something that has been a hallmark of JW's style.
Just imagine if someone else hit that shot, not JW. People go nuts.
Yeah.
Non-pro player.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
And again, as we are in this tactical pause, I can remind everybody this is an elimination match. And as you can see, Fnatic won the first map in surprising fashion with a huge comeback. Mousesports will certainly feel pretty awful about that, but even more awful still, given that they are struggling here on map 2. And we expected very differently. And in terms of the RMR points, Fnatic have 812 and Mousesports have 962, which puts them at 13th and 10th in the overall RMR ranking points, respectively, which means for both of these teams, it's incredibly important moving forwards for the next major, that they, for their chances to get to the next major, that they have a victory here. So Mousesports are in a lot of trouble, is what I'm basically saying with that one. And I'm hoping for them that they can find something to kind of get them back into this one, to give them a buffer at least to work with, you know, room for error as they vie for success. Great pre-aim there from Rops. That's absolutely fantastic. Mechanically, got to be, you know, he's up there for me. Rops, when he's putting in the hours, he's one of the absolute best mechanical players in the game.
Yeah, he's so solid. And last time around, Mousesports were able to find an opening pick. They were able to convert. Let's see if they're able to do that this time. Looks like that'll be a great opportunity for them. And the floodgates have opened up. And it looks like Mousesports will find their second round of this half. JW trying to make a case for Fnatic here, pushing in towards the lobby, but I think it's a matter of self-preservation at this point. The bomb has been planted, and he falls off of the angle. So good stuff there from Rops in particular to find that opening pick and enable the rest of Mousesports with a fairly simple mini split conversion.
Not too bad. Starts off with a pick, and then you could, you know, the world's your oyster at that point. JW wants to save this up. Fnatic can buy next round, except for Brawlin, which will need a drop.
I feel like this ramp duel has been so important to both of these teams' success. Flusha and Rops have been dueling it out consistently in a lot of these rounds. I know Rops found one other opening pick on Flusha with a deagle spam through smoke, but I think other than that kill in the prior round, it's been Flusha who's been winning those opening fights, and
he's had enough.
It's really helped. Oh yeah,
he's had enough. He's having the AWP out. He's bringing it out for ramp. He's like, no more peek, Rops.
That's a great adjustment.
Peek me, Rops. Do it. I dare you.
Peek me. I love that video clip. That's just like one of my favorite things ever. It's so good. Okay, well, Mousesports defaulting it out. Rops controlling, or Rops is the ramp control. And they've got another player in lobby, everybody else outside. Oh dear, JW finds the pick on the Frozen. He was on top of the silo, but no longer. And oh, okay. Okay, Rops is going to go down as the ramp player, and all of a sudden, all that Mousesports are left with are a couple players outside and one in lobby, so not really a great look. And you can see the desperation from Karrigan there. You've got to start cutting corners at this point, and it's a nice little jiggle, but JW on the re-peek absolutely nails it. Oh, what a disappointing round for Mousesports. They couldn't, before they could even get started, it's over.
Yeah, so if there's something to take away from this, Mousesports know that Fnatic has 2 ops. And so I'm thinking a pump fake into a set piece, either outside or in the upper. Toss some smoke, some FBs to maybe to bait all the Molotovs. See where the CTs are rotating maybe for like 10 seconds, and explode somewhere. Make the oppers try to retake the bomb site. That's the goal. Of course, as I say this, Flusha drops an op for an AK. Just doing Flusha things. I was thinking he's not going to drop for an MP9, but he'll do it for an AK.
That's super smart. Oh my god, that's actually so damn smart.
Yeah.
So he's countering the thought process of Mousesports
right
now.
You almost like never see that. Even if a player has a suspicion that an adaptation is coming, they just like never will drop the op unless they die.
Yeah.
So that's actually amazing.
That's genius, actually. I was thinking that the play DeBears was calling was actually very strong, but it's not nearly as strong when there's 4 rifles, actually.
That's pretty awesome. And it's just like Flusha. He's the guy that will buy an MP9 we saw and get an ace in an overtime where he has $10,000. It's like you can just buy rifles, mate, but no. Anyway, let's see how it unfolds. Mousesports. A lot of players around lobby, actually. Not really any outside presence whatsoever. They do have a Molotov tossed out there. I'm actually not sure if that was... No, I think that's from the CTs. They have Karrigan sort of looking out for any pushes, but it's very passive outside. I believe there's a player on the silo as well. Frozen is up there. So we're going to get delayed smokes and deeds. All the smokes coming. And that will, of course, deny some vision.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, the miscommunication, I think.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And now Golden's managed to find a frag, and That's not good.
Whoopsies.
I really want to believe in Mousesports right now, but they're not helping. They're not helping the situation. We'll see if they can find a remedy here. They're looking to go for an explosion upper. Just sitting in the corner, and that's a lot of damage. Brolan's doing good work. This is just falling flat in his face.
Wow.
Oh, this is failure after failure. It's really hard to watch if you're a fan of Mousesports, I'm sure.
Yeah, this is not looking good. Fnatic, with their back against the wall regarding RMR points, are doing an excellent job to ensure that they don't achieve last place in this tournament. This is so necessary for them. Mousesports have a little bit more room to breathe regarding it. There's a couple teams beneath them that are playing at this tournament that if they fall early enough, can keep Mousesports in their position in the contender slot, I would say. But this was a must-win game for Fnatic if they wanted a chance to make the major, and it looks like they're doing a great job once again. Brolin taking down Rops. That was a seemingly good, well-timed play, but it's just met with the ultimate counter, which is bullets in his chest. And now Mousesports desperately making their way down lower, will challenge Flusha, and actually they have an in on this round now. Flusha falls at the U-Haul, and Chris J is able to take down Crims as well. Golden is still here at control right now. What will he be able to accomplish through these doors? So he'll peek through the window instead, and Chris J continuing the strength that Mousesports has shown in this round.
And Brolin is in position to threaten the control room here, so he's going to look for this pick. He's against a weak player, but the headshot angle might be a problem. Oh, that's beautiful. Using the crouch there to anticipate and take the duel in the most effective way possible. Next player, and Brolin will fall. Woxic will convert, and that does leave JW here, coming in from the ramp position. Not a good look for him with this AWP, and these two choke points are definitely very difficult. And there's a swing from two players at once. Not much you can do about that, and Mousesports will convert. They can get 4 at best, but I suppose, I'm just happy that they've managed to get 3 at this point. It wasn't looking too likely.
Yeah, Mousesports looking pretty cold right now. Their T sides have been just non-existent in this series so far, and Fnatic's been capitalizing on that. Looking really strong on their CT sides.
And JW 15 for 3. He's compared with Inferno, where he was struggling to hit a lot of his shots, he's crushing it right now on Nuke. And well, Frozen's going to get the opening pick. There is a trade to follow around the ramp position, I think.
Oh, wow.
He's looking for that. I don't know if he heard a footstep, or maybe he's just always looking there when they hit outside. Either way, great timing from Mousesports.
That's a 4v3 with a lot of time to work with. JW is looking to throw a wrench in the works here. This is the play that could equalize for Fnatic. This is the moment that could really turn things in this round. That's a great flick, but unfortunately for him, he hits the legs. He's actually going to go... Okay, so that will send him back then. That Molotov will send him back.
Bogdan.
Oh, another one. Oh, Flush is going to play in front of it. Oh, that is genius. The Molotov went too deep. Flusha took the opportunity, and now it's the 3v3, and you're not fancying Mousesports nearly as much, I would say. And they've got 40 seconds. They're going for the ramp play. Now, there's so many obstacles on the journey, on the pilgrimage to that B bomb site plant. It looks like they should be able to make the plant at the very least.
Oh, JW won't give it for free, though. He opens the door through the smoke. He finds the kill again, getting Chris J. And there's 20 seconds that remain. Mousesports have to plant this bomb soon. Frozen, unsure of the angle he will be peeked from next. Knows that he has to clear some space out, and he does a great job at that. But only 10 seconds remain, and he has the bomb. Oh, he has a chance actually to go up the vents, but he's going to be met by JW, somehow hitting the flick onto him. But is there the time? No, there is not.
Oh, wow.
Fnatic will find themselves on 12 rounds here, as Frozen has a desperate attempt to find the plant, but a dominant first half. Will Mousesports be able to bounce back in the second half? Find out after a quick break.
Welcome back. 12-3 is the score. Fnatic are leading significantly, and we didn't expect this kind of a struggle from Mousesports, who now find themselves in the second half with only 3 rounds to work with, and they're fighting for their life right now. They lost the first map, and they will be eliminated from Summit 6 if they're unable to find a way back now.
So what we were talking about off the camera is Mousesports. Why are they doing so bad at their T side against Fnatic? We're talking about a little bit, maybe it's a stylistic kind of approach where Mousesports is trying to out mid-game Fnatic, who I consider one of the best mid-gamers in the game in a lot of points, a lot of situations.
Yeah, we'll see if they even have an opportunity to find any kind of mid-round success, though, as Flusha is able to take down Kerrigan already. Brawlin with a kill himself, and already Mousesports just feel completely choked out of this A bomb site. Fnatic continuing with their momentum from the previous half with a nearly flawless pistol round here. It's just up to Rops. Can't even find a dent to maybe hinder just one player on Fnatic's just the steamrolling ability. I don't know. There's so much momentum right now, and he won't find anything as well. It's just Fnatic running over Mousesports at this point. It feels so desperate.
In classic Fnatic fashion as well, on that pistol, they kind of pushed like everything at once. Like they pushed Ramp, they put with 1 player, they pushed Heart with 2 players, and they had someone pushing outside as well. Like they were just pushing everything. Very, very Fnatic to do stuff like that. And indeed, Mousesports find themselves in a position where they basically have to force buy now every single round regardless, because they are just too far behind. And it's going to be very tough, but we'll see if Fnatic can play a well thought out and methodical anti-force buy round. Again, there are a couple good options on this map, but I would say that this is one of the harder maps to run a flawless anti-force buy round. It's kind of difficult at times.
Yeah, this is it's a tough one. There's a lot of close angles that Mouse can use to use these deagles to good effect. In fact, it's just it actually is a weirdly versatile gun in that it's so good at spraying bodies as well. But Flusha, able to pick up the first 2 kills, may not allow those deagles to do too much work here. And it looks like Fnatic will attempt to convert towards Ramp at this point. Seems to be a free opportunity. Brawlin taking down Rops as well, looking for more outside. He will be challenged by Frozen momentarily, and it's just Kerrigan to try to actually defend the bomb site, but he's taken down as well. This is looking just so clinical for Fnatic at this point. Every kill going their way. Will Frozen be able to find one? And he does at least recover that AK. That's a nice gun to take on forward, but it's such a steep hill to climb.
Yeah, it actually would be pretty huge if he can keep this gun alive. As you say, it feels like it could be, if they're lucky with kind of how, like where Frozen is playing with that AK in the next round, and where maybe Fnatic decide to go. If you are in the right place, right time, there is a huge possibility to make this a game-changing weapon. But he's being hunted here. I don't know that he'll be surviving this. He's got to guess the right angle, the right time, and he's not. He looks towards JW, but just a little bit too late. And that is, you could have handed it to Fnatic. They're not missing a step right now. They're really making sure that they check absolutely everything. They seem very focused, and they have now moved to just 2 rounds away from eliminating Mousesports. 14-3. It's looking very scary.
It's like sharks in the water. They see blood.
They have to force buy again. Are they going to save? I don't know. I mean, I guess you can, but
you really have to believe in your CT side if you save here.
I think Nuke is a good map to buy on the second round. There's a lot of short angles. Yeah. You're on top of like different elevations. There's a lot of small little like nukes that you can hide in and bait with your teammates. And it's easier to play more passive on the bomb sites on this map. So it's a lot of things going for the CTs.
They're half buying.
I would agree though. I think Nuke is probably up there with Inferno for the best force buy maps. It's just so powerful to have.
Shotguns are amazing.
Shotties, just CZs, Deagles, a scout can do so much work outside as well to tag those players as they run into the CZs or Deagles later in the round. it's a strong map for that. But oh man, it just feels like everything is going Fnatic's way. Brawlin just running across, jumping, finds a headshot onto Frozen. Thankfully for Frozen, he doesn't fall, but Woxic will. And Fnatic once again with a nice advantage. Good off angle being played here actually by Rops. It should be good for one, but with how thorough Fnatic has been playing, I'm not even sure about that.
Yeah, they've been just... It feels like they are very focused, and we've seen a lot of games where we've seen some sloppiness, but there really isn't any complacency here from Fnatic to speak of, and they aren't able to find... Or rather, Mousesports aren't really able to find much here so far. Chris J has found an AK, but it's a similar story to that previous round with Frozen. He's being hunted. Chris J looking for that next player from Trophy, trying to find a way to get out of these positions so that he can keep this AK alive, and they don't want to let him have it. They do have to be cautious though, because they don't have the bomb down just yet. Chris J will be caught out though. Here's all the running, wants to punish, but there it is. Match point, series point.
Oh no.
Kick Mousesports out of the tournament's point for Fnatic with that 15-3. And look at the scoreline on Golden and JW. They're both 20 for 8, 20 for 4. They're crushing now.
They've been playing exceptionally well. I'm surprised Flusha's scoreline isn't better, but that's sometimes the life of a ramp player, where you do your job so well, but you're rewarded with a 10-7 scoreline, and it's just it's not looking good. Fnatic want to end it here on a fast A play, and it's going well already. Golden, man, we highlighted, will go 1 for 1, but oftentimes on Nuke, that's all you need.
Indeed. And it is a trade, an even trade though for these teams. So that said, you don't really favor Mousesports too much with the fact that they have no utility, but at the very least they do have the firepower. They've got Woxic on the AWP, Karrigan with his patented AUG, one of the few players that actually purchases it quite frequently and finds a lot of success with it too. But JW is actually lurking, or trying to lurk, onto the A site. And he may find something here. He could catch one of these players off guard. Karrigan is right above him. He has no idea. And Karrigan will see him first. And he gets the pick onto JW. That's a big kill. Now Fnatic in this 3v4 need to sort of just play for position together. And they're doing so towards ramp.
This is such a good angle for Rops, though. It's usually good for at least one. But Crims clears it out. 3v3 situation now. Frozen was able to take out Brawlin towards outside. That's a big pick. And Woxic is lying in wait at control. And Mousesports with a little bit more life and a little bit more game to be played.
I think Fnatic's also doing a pretty good job of not getting picked by Woxic. It seems like a lot of Mousesports' success in the past does rely a little bit on the picks by Woxic, and he hasn't been really doing anything this entire series in terms of getting those entry picks or big impact rounds. So whether it's part of the game plan of Fnatic or maybe he's having an off day and in the wrong spot at the wrong time, it happens.
There you go, another fast one. Vent drop from JW. Manages to get down there, but minimal health left. But it doesn't matter how much health he has, as long as he's alive. He creates such a problem. It might create an instant rotation from the ramp player, and that can really be very disruptive for the CTs. They have to try to keep track of what this guy's doing below them.
I don't think they know.
Oh, maybe they don't actually. Sometimes it's hard to tell.
Because there's no smoke. He just ran through the mollies with no smokes. So maybe they don't expect a person to be down there. Which would be just wild.
Oh, no. Yeah, that can be really problematic. It is really hard to know precisely what the best way to play JW's position is, though, depending on what your team is doing. Because obviously, at the beginning of the round, you don't know if he's going to successfully make it down there or not. So you have to have protocols. Okay, if he does make it down there, this is how we're going to play the round. And you can see they're working on ramp here. So with JW already in a forward position, down ramp, he could catch off a rotation. But his teammates have to win ramp first, and they are having trouble in traversing that location. The AWP is present, and now JW will lurk even more.
Chris J just jump spotting this angle. Looks like he's more concerned about players coming down secret, but all the same, JW should be able to hear him. the very least, and know that there is a player rotated on towards lower, which will cause Fnatic to go for an upper hit. Frozen is still at the opposite vent right now. Will he be able to find anything? He does get one, but it's a 3-on-3 situation. JW is able to take down the rotating Chris J, and it's just up to Rops and Woxic. For the life of Mousesports here at CS Summit 6, they have to try to win this one. Rops pushing on through radio right now. Brolin will be here to challenge. Low HP on Brolin, but it's good enough. A headshot, and it's just Woxic left.
This is not an easy one with main smoked. These 3 Ts could be absolutely anywhere, and Woxic doesn't have the ability to spray transfer. It's a one-shot gun. It's a bolt action weapon. It's so difficult here. There goes the peak. JW successful, and Mousesports have been eliminated by Fnatic with a 16-4 victory. Fnatic had a tumultuous first map where arguably Mousesports should have been able to close it out, but they failed. And speaking of failure, in map 2, they from start to finish, they could not find success.
Yeah, it was pretty wild because Mousesports came out hot, in the map. They were starting off, they were up a whole bunch of rounds, and all of a sudden Fnatic was like, my turn. We're going to defense side. We're going to hit some shots. Go ahead, show us some stress. Go ahead, Kerrigan, show us some stress, Kerrigan.
With that said, we'll take a very quick break, and we'll be back to do the post-match of that one and lead you into the next match after this.
That's what I'm talking about. Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Welcome back to Summit 6. We have a post-game to do now. Post-mortem of Mousesports.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like we were the reasonable people. We were we showed our analytical clouds in the pregame. It felt like everything we said made sense. but the result was completely the opposite of what we set up. So let's start to kind of break it down. I mean, we've already covered a few varying points as to where Mousesports struggled, but Fnatic really crushed them. And we also did say that we were unsure day to day how Fnatic would look. Obviously, they look great today, but where let's really pinpoint what the problems were for Mousesports if we possibly can. So where should we start?
We could maybe start with the momentum. It seems like after the first half of the first map, they're starting off good, and then they won Pistol, right? Looked really good for Mousesports. Then all of a sudden, they start losing rounds, then they start losing more rounds, and then more and more and more rounds, and snowballed into literally a 2-map ordeal where Mousesports did not even look like a professional team. So I'm wondering if there's a big mental case around why they just dropped the ball so bad in terms of, on their T side. Obviously, CT side's a little easier, but you know what I mean? It's like their defaults were so slow. They didn't really change the pace up too much on their T side. I would prefer against maybe a team like Fnatic. Maybe start a bit fast and then slow it down once you get like a big choke point, like on this map, say outside, or maybe on Inferno in the mid and whatnot. Then after that point, you could probably work stuff a bit slower again if you wanted to. After you baited out some smokes and Molotovs, because once you're hitting the bomb site, with 20 seconds left, and Fnatic still has their smokes, flashes, and Molotovs, you're gonna have a real bad time on your offense.
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, the CT